It is 12:45 Central African Time, and we're coming to you live from the 7th Radio Broadcasting Convention, Africa 2026, taking place today and tomorrow at the venue Green Park in Sandton, Johannesburg in South Africa. And now joining me here is Mwakyambiki, that is Jacqueline Lawrence, who is the CEO at Highlands FM Radio. Jacqueline, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Africa Update today.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Now, we were just having a conversation off air and talking about the fact that this is not your first time. You've been here a number of times at the different conventions. And what are you finding that has changed at this time around in the 7th edition?
Well, there's more participation and people giving their comments on what exactly should be done with the rising move of media to social media, the conversations, how are we shaping them and not leaving radio behind. I'm seeing the conversation it's bigger now.
And it's bigger, and how do we then ensure that we do not get left behind?
Firstly, we have to understand where we came from as a media and how we arrived here. Communication was something that used to be done with scrolls, with town criers. This is back in the old ages. Yes. And we got here today to radio and TV because people wanted news faster. Now, faster today is social media. Faster today is TikTok. That's where we're headed. Our base is the traditional media. Where we're headed is towards digital. How are we combining them to be hybrid? That's where our conversation is at.
And, talk to us about you're mentioning that now it's a lot more hybrid, it's fast-paced, even faster than it was before. The future of African radio, trends, technologies, and just the new formats that are actually working. And also the fact that more younger people are also consuming what is being delivered to them.
The future of African radio involves participation. Where the audience is participating more, that's where they're headed. Now, we are not saying that traditional radio is dying. No, it's transforming. How we got news, how we got access to information before is very different from how we're going to get access to information 5 years from now. Because the audience of today want to be in the conversation. They want to be heard and they want to be echoed. These are not the times of a one-way communication channel. This is a one-way, two-way, three-way, five-way interaction. And I feel that as media, we're already doing this. We're incorporating this into the structure that's building a hybrid form. Now, because of affordability, we cannot rule out traditional media at all. We cannot rule it out until maybe the cost of internet is, zero?
We're all wishing and hoping at some point that it will happen.
Until we get there.
Yes. And what are you finding in just your newsroom? You mentioned that young people are, moving at a fast pace and some are being left behind. How do we balance those scales and ensure that environments are adaptable?
When we have policies in place in our newsrooms, that way we can ensure no one is left behind. It should not be like one person has a skill and it's only to that one person or two people. Everyone should be having access to the tools that are now being used globally so that we can all use them and all transform them in our programs. Yeah.
And just, looking at how we consume news today and just current affairs and just across the board, you find, I was speaking to Tulani Mleche earlier, and he mentioned that, there are different age groups that show, different platforms show the age groups that are still consuming that news from those platforms. And how do we ensure that for young people, for instance, we know it's all about social media, whether it's credible news platforms, whether it is a credible story, you find that it gains a lot of traction because immediately, say a young person, whoever just reads a story and just thinks it's a real story or a genuine story, and it starts trending, only to find that it is a fake story. How do we deal with those instances in those cases?
The dangers of what these platforms have done is that, and everyone can be a media house.
Yes.
But what we need to go back to is actual media house to have licensing, even online media house. In Tanzania, that's happened. And people think that it's too much regulation, but it will help you know who is the right media and who is just a person. And I feel like when the government puts regulation around this, it protects not only the people, but it protects businesses. It protects the society in general, so that we know where we're getting our information from. Yeah.
And is the Tanzanian government moving fast enough to ensure that the policies and regulations are on par or even ahead of how the news medium is consumed, especially with the advent of digitalization and AI?
Yes, right now even content creators have licenses. And at first people thought it was too much, but you come to understand that they're saying these people are providing content. So what if we give them licensing and train them how to provide proper content, give them accurate content, because it's an unregulated field. How are we ensuring that we're protecting the population? Yeah.
And, there's always the worry of the fact that with AI and digitalization, the evolving of how news is put together, loss of jobs. There is a big worry in the industry where people are starting to think that, is this going to wipe away, live presenters or anchors and so on? How do we ensure that that space still remains what it is as time evolves and things change?
One thing I can say is that I don't feel that AI is here to take anyone's jobs.
Yeah.
Because we've all gotten fake news from AI. But
Yeah.
it shows that AI still needs a human touch.
Yes.
What AI is there, it's there to refine your work. But it cannot totally replace the human touch. Even when you use AI, you see that to get proper content, you have to input something. You have to make a prompt. Who's making that prompt? The human. So AI can be used to complement, and this is what we should have policies around regulating. We also need an AI or AI policy as well. How are we making it make proper content? How are we ensuring that there's a human touch behind the AI? Because it's very dangerous to let it run by itself.
Of course.
Yeah.
And your takeaway from this 7th convention edition, what are you finding? And with the different conversations and everyone from all parts of the continent?
I love what I'm hearing, that a lot of people are incorporating different technologies to heighten their media houses. I'm also learning that we should not be so rigid, sticking to what we know. We should be open to collaborations with creators, influencers, even with AI. What are we doing so that we can incorporate it all for a better media? Because we cannot fight it. This is where we're headed.
Well, Jacqueline, it's been a great pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us on Africa Update.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's Mwakyambiki, Jacqueline Lawrence, CEO of Highlands FM Radio, joining us live here at the 7th Radio Broadcasting Convention, Africa 2026, taking place today and tomorrow at the venue Green Park, Johannesburg in South Africa.
Your life just got easier. Get the Channel Africa